So today we're going to learn how to find slope from two coordinate pairs. This is different than what we've been doing because in the past we've been finding slope from a graph, and now all you're going to be given are the two ordered pairs. So, but before we do that, we are going to practice a couple just sort of basic skills that you will need, and I just want to review them before we move on. So the first piece is just how to find your ordered pairs. So for example, if we were to look at point B, so just remember that your ordered pairs are always in the format of X and then Y. And so if we wanted to find point B, we would do, let's try a different pen. We would look for your X value here, which is 4. And then we would look for your Y value right here, which is 200. And that would be my ordered pair. So now why don't you try finding point C? Yep. So I would look down for my X value, which is 12. And then I would look over at my Y value, which is 400. And let's try point D. So for D, I would look down and it would be 16. And then I would look over, and so my Y value would be 600. And then let's try, we'll skip E, let's try F. If I look down at my X, it would be 28. And my Y would be 500. Okay, I think we've got this, so let's move on to practicing our negative integers one more time, only because you're going to need this. So try this problem. So remember that -6, we can rewrite it as an addition, like this. And then because the signs are the same, we just add them together, and my answer would be negative. So can you try -5 minus 20? So again, -5 plus -20 would give me -25. Okay, another one. Try 7 minus -5. So remember, when we have those two right next to each other, it really just becomes 7 plus 5, which is 12. And then let's just try 2 minus -3. Again, those will just become plus, and so 2 plus 3 is 5. And one more to practice, 5 minus 9. Be very careful because this is not 9 minus 5. So we would rewrite this as addition, and it would just be 5 plus -9. Since the signs are different, I subtract them, we get 4. And then 9 is my bigger number, so my answer is negative. So let's try one more of those. So 2 minus 7. Again, I would rewrite it as 2 plus -7. The signs are different, so we subtract. And then 7 is bigger, so my answer would be negative. Okay, I think we are ready to move on. So we're going to just look at what we do when we use rise over run with a graph to find the slope. Use rise over run, so I'll choose my 2 points and we'll do rise over run. Now be careful because the scales here are not 1. So we have to look, if we're going from 50 to 100, how much is that change? Yep, it would be 50. And then over here, 30 to 60 would be 30. And then remember, to find slope, we write that as a fraction of my rise over my run. Now, the new way we're going to do that is that we may not always be given this picture of the graph. And so we may just be given 2 points. So let's take these 2 points. So 30, 50 and 60, 100. Now, notice what I did to get 50 over here is I subtracted 100 minus 50. And then to get that 30, I subtracted 60 minus 30. And this basically gives us our formula. Notice here that I subtracted the y's, and over here I subtracted the x's. So my formula is basically going to be y minus y and x minus x. Okay, and we'll talk about it a little more in just a minute, but let's try another one with a graph before we move on to just points. So again here, let's choose 2 points and find it sort of the normal way. So I'll choose this point and this point. And again, rise over run. Now this one I'm going down between 120 and 80. So that would be decreasing 40 with that negative there. And then I'm going over this one, the scale is nice and just 1, so I'm going from 1 to 2, so that's just going over 1. So my slope is 40 over 1. Now, what would be the 2 ordered pairs from this point and this point? Yep, so we would have 120, and 2, 80. And again, I'm just going to first to get that negative, oh, I forgot my negative there. Sorry. Okay. So to get that 40, I am going to subtract my y's, because really 120 minus 80 is what gave me, or actually 80 minus 120 is what gave me negative 40. So over here I'm going to do 80 minus 120 all over 2 minus 1. And again, that would be negative 40 over 1. So let's look at this with just points. So here I have 2 points. Now there is a specific formula here. But before I get there, I just want to label these points so I know which one is my first set of points and which one is my second set of points. So I'm going to label this x and y, but I'm going to put a little 1 right here just to say this is my first set of points. And then I'm going to label this x and y, but again, I'm going to put a little 2 to say this is my second set of points. And now my formula is y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1, which is what I did when we find rise over run. So I'm just going to look over here at what I labeled. My y2 is 12, y1 is 8, x2 is 9, and x1 is 5. So what would this be for a slope? Yep, 12 minus 8 is 4, and 9 minus 5 is 4. So I guess we have a slope of 1 in this example. So let's try another one, sort of work together. First of all, what's the formula? What's the formula for slope? It would be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And then let's label our points. This is my first set of points, so it would be x1, y1. This should be an x, there we go. And this is my second set of points, so it would be x2, y2. And then we just plug them into the formula. So x2 is right here, so we write 10 minus Notice that both of these are always subtraction. So 10 minus y1, which is 6, all over y2 minus y1, so, or x2 minus x1. So x2 is 3, minus x1 is 2. So what would our slope be? 4 over 1, or 4. So why don't you try this one on your own? Oh, be careful of that negative. So this one I set it up for you. We wrote out the formula, and I suggest while you're getting used to this that you write out that formula as well. And then we labeled all of our points, and then we just plugged them into that formula, and then we subtracted. Be careful right here, because this one was 6 minus negative 3, which would have been 9. Let's try another one. Again, be careful of your negatives. So again, we wrote our formula, we labeled our points, and then we just plugged them in. Again, here, be careful, minus negative 2 would give us 14, and then 8 minus 7 is 1, so my answer would have been 14. Okay, so again, formula, label our points. Be careful on this one, because this would be 2 minus 13. This is really why we label our points, because otherwise it's easy just to do 13 minus 2, which would give us a different answer. And so 2 minus 13 is negative 11, and then 9 minus negative 6 is 15. And that is it. So go work and practice on Khan Academy.